Hello everybody and welcome back to GP Nail Art. Well, no, it's not GP Nail Art anymore. I'll be doing nails today, but we are now GP Saws and Ends. So today I am doing the mani for the This and That collab with Nail Addict She, and the theme that everybody voted on was either for bats or spiders, for a Halloween type of theme for the month of October. And the one that got the most votes was bats. So I am going to be doing a bat themed mani today, and we'll just have to see how it comes out because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I do have this set of press-on nails ready to go. These are already prepped. I was actually going to use these and try to create like a fall press-on set that I could try to wear, but I'm a little bit iffy still on trying to wear anything on my hand just yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and use these, and they only have a layer of base coat on them so far. That's it. So nothing other than that, other than just kind of like cutting them down and filing them a little bit and shaping them so they're a little bit shorter than the long ones that I normally use, but we're gonna go ahead and use those. So I do have I have a dust brush ready because you'll see why I will be using this in a moment. I also have my cupcake liner. I only have one glove left. I keep forgetting to go and get more gloves, so I'll probably have to put an order online soon, or maybe just so I get them and I don't keep forgetting. So I'm going to try to be very careful. This is the hand that usually gets the most reaction, at least on my fingers and everything, and I'll be holding the nails with this hand, so I'm going to try to just protect this hand in case when I'm brushing on or anything like that I don't get any on my skin at all. But I am going to be using my Nail Addict. This is now Nail Reserve for the company name, but I have still their older bottle of, or the old label for the base coat. I'm also at the end going to be using the top coat, so we'll put those aside for the moment. I have my container of alcohol. The reason I have the dust brush is I'm going to be using this as a Triple D dip powder. This one's called Hide and Seek, so it is a thermal temperature changer, so you can see the cold color is this charcoal kind of a color, and then I believe it turns like a more of a whitish or very, very light gray when it's warm. So that's gonna play into my design a little bit. So I'll be using that as well. So I'll be doing some stamping. So I have my stamper as well as Straight Up It's Black by, oh sorry, I'm not sure why you can't. Okay, sorry about that. So I was able to turn the light on my camera, but this is Straight Up Black. So again, this is Maniology. I also will be using one of their plates. So this is a plate that I have not used yet because it still has the blue film on it. But this is Maniology M071. So you could see it's kind of a Ouija board theme, but what I want to use it for is kind of this cemetery haunted house. There's a couple, maybe the one with the tree as well, so we'll kind of see how that works out, but that's what I want to use the plate for. And then I have some, I'm not sure yet if I want to use these, maybe some of the black. I don't think I want to use the orange in this one, but these are bat sequins, and this is from Charlie's Nail Art. You can see the website there, charliesnailart.co.uk. So there are some like black and then silver, all that hollow kind of color is really cool looking, so we might try to use some of those. And then I have water decals from Charlie's Nail Art as well, so I specifically want to use the one with the moon and the bats. So we'll kind of see how this plays out. Not entirely sure yet. So I'm going to go ahead and move that out of the way. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the dip powder. So I'm going to do at least 2 layers of the dip powder using the gel method, meaning I'm going to apply the base coat to the nail, and then I'm going to dip into, I think, or pour over the dip powder. So they're a little bit more flexible that way, so I think they'll be a little bit better and won't get quite as hard for the press-on nails. But I also have a dust collector right here because I want to try to keep any of the dust from the powder off of me, as I don't want to kind of re-trigger any reaction. So I will have that going as well. You won't hear it. I'm going to switch to voiceover method. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, so I'm only probably going to show the one nail with the dip powder application doing the gel method. So I am going to start with the base coat. I'm going to apply a whole layer fairly thin to the entire nail surface. I'm just going to get the dip powder ready as well. And you can do this either way. It kind of really depends on your gel liquid. I wouldn't necessarily recommend dipping into the dip powder with all gel base coats. It depends on how runny it is. This one is not, kind of for the most part stays in place, and I'm doing a thin enough layer where it's not gonna kind of run off of the nail and get into the dip powder, but I do kind of start by pouring over. That was just kind of being a little bit messier than I wanted it to be, so I do end up, as you can see, pouring all of the dip powder into that cupcake liner and just dipping in as needed. So I kind of will dip in continuously for any bare spots or spots that look like they're staying kind of too wet, where like the gel is soaking through it, I guess. And before you do anything else, you want to make sure, since this is gel, that you do cure it in the lamp. I am doing the full 60 seconds. It is a darker color dip, so I want to make sure that it gets fully cured. Sometimes darker colors tend to take longer to cure or have a harder time curing, so you just want to be careful of that. I'm just going to brush off any excess powder, and I'm trying to be very careful again of doing that towards the dust collector instead of towards me, so to minimize any contact with my skin. I did get a little bit of a flare up on my wrists, but I think that was for another reason. So I'm going to do 2 layers on each nail of the dip powder, but I'm going to do the same exact thing for every nail. So I'm only showing this one nail. But in regards to the reaction, when I was doing these nails, I pulled a little pot of some thicker gel out of my drawer. I was looking for something else, but I did touch it, and I didn't realize it was kind of leaking gel out of its sides, like out of the container. It was kind of seeping out a little bit, and I didn't realize it, so I did get that on my skin, which is probably what caused the flare-up more than anything else. So that was kind of my fault. I didn't kind of realize that it was leaking gel into my drawer, so accidentally touched it. But it was a minimal reaction. I've just been putting like the cortisone cream on it as the doctor suggested, and just making sure I'm washing my skin and hands and everything. So you can see I have the base coat on all of the nails. That base coat is going to act as a sticky layer for my stamping as well. When you're using dip powder, the surface of that is too dry and too smooth for a stamp to adhere to, so you do need to either have the sticky non-gel polish from Maniology, or gel polish has that sticky inhibition layer for the actual colors or the base coat. So that will act as something for your stamps to stick to, but you need some sort of sticky surface for the stamps to transfer over properly. So I'm going to go ahead and get into that in a little bit. First, I forgot about this decal here. I did want to use this little decal with the moon and the bats just to kind of have a little bit of color that you're going to see on the nails, or on that nail, no matter what, because I'm only going to put that on the middle nail. So I like to use my little stamper hack here. You need to put the decal in water in order to have it removed from the paper backing. So I like to use my stamper to kind of get the decal off of the paper, and then the stamper is clear so you can see exactly where you're going to place it instead of it kind of getting stuck in a spot where you don't want it. So I love the stamper hack for decals. So I think that looks really cool. I love just that bright moon right in the middle, kind of in the sky there. And when we apply the stamps, you'll see how it kind of all plays together. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the stamping. The stamping plate that I use, this one is from Maniology, and they all come with that blue film. So before I get into any stamping, the best way to properly prepare your stamping plate is to wipe it down with acetone first. That's just going to make sure that there's not any residue left over from the blue film or anything that may have touched it prior to the blue film, and that's just going to help your stamp pick up better on your little stamper. So I am going to use my black polish. The initial stamp that I tried, it didn't want to kind of transfer properly, so I had to do it a couple times, so I did cut that part out. But I'm just using again those bottom stamps that have kind of that cemetery and the tree, and then I'll use the other side that has the house as well. When you have a stamp that's kind of on the edge of the plate, it's kind of better to swipe your polish away from the edge instead of towards the edge. It kind of ends up digging into the stamping plate a little bit and removing some of that color from the stamp that you're trying to pick up. So I'm using my lint roller to remove any pieces of the stamp or the other stamps that I don't want to have transfer to my nail, because I only want the cemetery and the tree. I don't want any other stamp that was kind of above that or anything, so I'm just very carefully removing that from the stamp. So because the stamper itself is very flexible, it is quite easy to kind of manipulate that and just kind of move it around so you're only removing the pieces that you don't want. So then I just gently apply that onto the nail, and I applied that across the free edge, so when it's warm and kind of that whitish color, you're going to see the whole cemetery along the free edge, and then the bats kind of up in the sky, so to speak. So it's going to look really cool, and you'll see that at the end, so stay tuned for that. But I am going to go ahead and do the other side of the stamp and pretty much do the same thing. I'm only going to show the two nails because, again, I'm doing the same thing across all 5 of those nails, so not really anything too different. And you do want to clean off your stamping plate in between, so you remove that polish with acetone, but please do not use any acetone on your little stamper cube. It will get ruined, it'll get cloudy, and you're not going to be able to see what you're transferring over from the stamping plate to your nail, so please be very careful. The best way to clean your stamper is with that lint roller, or if you need to wash it for any reason, you can just wash it in the sink with some warm water and your dishwashing liquid. Let it dry on a paper towel or in between paper towels overnight, and you should be good to go. But never ever use acetone on your little rubber stamper. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and then we will be applying some of those sequins as well. All right, so I did decide that since this is going to be a bat-themed mani, that I needed as many bats as possible. So I am going to use these sequins on the nails as well. I'm going to apply them to all of the nails except for the one that has the water decal with the moon on that middle finger. And I did separate all of the orange bats out. Like I said, I didn't want the orange ones on there. I don't think it would make a huge difference, but it is going to stand out from the black dip powder, so you would see them no matter if the nails are cold or warm. So I just kind of wanted more of that hide and seek element to the mani. So the bats, if the nails are completely cold, they're just going to look like black nails for Halloween, which is cool in and of itself. But when your fingers or your nails get warm, you will start to see all of those hidden images. So I think that's a really cool effect, especially for Halloween. So this was really fun to do. And I'm just applying a little bit of the base coat to the cuticle side of the nail where I'm applying those bats, and that's just giving it something a little extra to adhere to and cure into, so that the sequins don't end up sticking up too much or you don't have any sharp edges. Because I am going to also do a base coat layer over all of those sequins and over the whole entire nail before I do top coat, just to make sure the top coat has something to completely adhere to so that you don't get any peeling or anything like that, and to make sure again that there's no sharp edges from those sequins. But look at how cool that is, and you can see the difference, what it would look like completely warm versus completely cold, which I think is really awesome too. I'm going to finish up with the top coat and cure everything for, again, a full 60 seconds between all of my cures, and we're just about done. And I think that these look super, super cool. So I am actually going to go ahead and apply them with some of the double-sided stickers so that I can take them off within an hour or so if I need to. So I'm not going to be wearing these for very long, but I think they look really cool, and I think the thermal part is pretty sensitive as well, which I really, really like. I don't like when you're wearing some and then they don't work very well, but let's go ahead and see these in action. So this is under cold water, so they turn completely black, and all we can really see are some of the holographic bats and then the moon with the bats, which I think is really, really cool. And then it's going to turn to hot water so that we can see the full nail art image that's on all of the nails, and you can really see all of the bats, all of the cemetery and the haunted house and the tree. I think these came out really, really cool. So let me know what you think. Please like and subscribe. Don't forget to go and check out Nail Addict She's Manny as well. She'll be doing a bat Manny as well. And thank you so much. Have a great day.